Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Name the dog, Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is the man without fear. It's Frank. How are you today?
I did not see us talking about a new season of this show. I thought those days were behind us.
Yeah.
I wasn't going for that, but sure. Yeah.
You didn't read it with your fingers, Frank. That's like, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. But I just, didn't have that in my deck. But you know what? I am happy that we're here talking about it. So
me too. I am too.
Excited to get into it with you.
Me too. Frank, what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking
perhaps, to be like Wilson, a Chianti.
No. I wish I could.
All right.
I could say, but no. I'm drinking a Smuttynose Old Brown Dog American Brown Ale.
So you are being like Wilson. He is a smutty nosed dog.
I guess that's true. Yeah. So from a certain point of view, and I'm enjoying it out of this Statue of Liberty mug. Beer mug that I was gifted for the centennial celebration of the Statue of Liberty.
Awesome. Very good.
In 1986. And it says,
before you were born. Very good.
Keep the torch lit. Yes, this is older than I am by a couple of years. And it's got this nice embossed Statue of Liberty carved on the front. And it's I just felt like some glassware, grabbed it off the shelf.
Honestly, I don't hate it. I kind of like it. It reminds me of the Batman Forever McDonald's glasses.
Yes, totally with you.
Has that vibe going on.
Yes.
Statue of Liberty. Also, talking about Daredevil, New York. What's more quintessential New York than the Statue of Liberty? Something given by another country.
There you go.
Yeah, America in general, given by another country.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of other countries, I'm drinking an imported beer.
Ooh.
I'm still on my Daura Damm kick over here, but I got the red for Daredevil, so
nice.
I'm in it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
But it's 100% natural ingredients. It's international award-winning beer, and it's crafted to remove the gluten.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. So what's is this one? What style of beer is this one?
It's a lager. It's the same one.
It's the same lager.
Okay. Last couple of episodes. I can't even remember now. It's all a big blur.
It's all a blur.
It's all blur, but I saved them specifically for the show because I know I'm going to enjoy talking to you, and I know I'm going to enjoy drinking this beer. So to me, it all works out. It all comes out, and it doesn't come out in the wash because I'm not taking the beer into the washing machine with me.
No, that'd be weird. But
in the washing machine.
But I'm with you in general.
Yeah,
I'm with you in spirit.
That's good. And with yours, Frank, what is your? So let's talk Daredevil.
Yes.
This is technically season 4, Daredevil Born Again. It's season 1 for truly being connected to the MCU on Disney Plus, but technically it's continuation of the previous 3
Netflix
seasons
series
plus the Defenders on Netflix. Did you like the original series? I can't remember.
We talked about it on the show back in the day, which is why I'm like, I thought those days were behind us, man. That show was over. And it's like, okay, that's it. I had a love-hate relationship with the original show. There were, I enjoyed season 2 much more than I enjoyed season 1, I believe.
That's an unpopular opinion.
It is. Yeah, it is. But it was just, I don't know, more of what I like. It wasn't season 2, but I not to say I didn't like season 1. But yeah, I had sort of there's things about it I like. There's things about it that sort of I struggle with like anti-hero stuff sometimes. This about me, and
yep.
I didn't even watch Punisher for that reason. I was like, I'm not even gonna get into it. I can't. I just can't do it. But but there was a lot that I do love about this show. The characters I love about this show. So I was excited when I heard that it was coming back, and then forgot about it for a few months, and then it dropped, and I was like, oh, that's right, that was gonna happen.
Don't you love when things just drop and you're like, oh man, we're back in it? That's great.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Doctor Who right now. I kind of forgot about it, and then I was like, oh, it's back. Awesome. I'm so happy.
I love it. I love hearing you this happy about Doctor Who. Just
it's been I watched the Christmas special to catch up, which was very good, and then I watched the first episode, which I enjoyed quite a bit, and which means that the first season wasn't really a fluke for me. That I'm just kind of like,
right, that's right.
I'm like, so I was actually watching it in our living room, and somebody said something like, blah blah blah, like, oh, you're just a doctor, and my wife was kind of like in and out, and she was like, oh, is that a Doctor Who reference? And I remember like, because it is Doctor Who. Like, it's, okay. Well, at least I got it was a Doctor Who reference.
Yeah, right? She was on the ball there.
She is. So you had a love-hate relationship with Daredevil. I loved it kind of straight through. I also liked the second season of the Netflix show, but it also had stuff that I like. I like when Daredevil leans into the ninja, and so I like that. I like that side of the character. I don't struggle with anti-heroes, but I'm just not as interested in them. The way that I gravitate towards more classical, I'm not going to kill you heroes.
Yeah.
But what I liked about season 4 is that there's this real struggle for Matt between being the hero and the anti-hero.
Yeah.
As opposed to just flat out being a terrible.
Yes.
And I really liked that. I think it wasn't it didn't shy away from maybe more complex feelings that you would maybe associate with the MCU, that they're kind of like they can like skirt over complex feelings in favor of the next big beam in the sky. Not all the time. Certainly they're that's not all the time, but they're supposed to be accessible for everybody.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and Daredevil is certainly not for everybody, which I don't want all the time, but I do appreciate when it does come my way.
Yes. Agreed.
Do you want to just talk spoilers from here on out? We both established that we liked it, and
we both established that we liked it. If you I think to talk about much else, we're going to need to spoil it. So let's go there.
Okay.
We're in the spoiler zone.
I want to keep talking about Matt and his journey. I saw recently an article that was like sorry to say that season 1 through 3 already proved that Matt can't help but be Daredevil. We didn't see it again. I disagree. And I at first I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I guess they kind of do, like, oh, will he be Daredevil again? We don't know. But isn't that just being human? Like, won't we just do the thing again that we know isn't good for us, but we just do it again anyway?
Like it's different.
There's the Q-tip or whatever. Like, you're not supposed to.
We're always going to use the Q-tip. It's sorry. Like, you can't tell me the Q-tip's not meant to. That's literally what everyone uses it for. You can't.
That's correct. Yeah. Sometimes I use it to clean the windowsill. Get into the little spots over there.
Sure. Oh, I mean, there are plenty of other uses for them as well, but
But they're for your ears. Let's be serious.
They're for your ears. Come on.
Yeah. So I actually liked that about the show, not because it didn't feel like it was retreading ground to me, especially since it was juxtaposed against Wilson Fisk, who was also like, I love New York and I'm gonna be good ? And I really liked the juxtaposition between, like, the more they became their previous selves, the more they became like Matt's like got his life together. People are enjoying his company and all this stuff, and like the more he like gravitates towards being Daredevil again, the less reliable he is, and he starts lying again and all this stuff. And like typically all the behavior you would associate with somebody who's really screwing up their life. And yet here we are. He is saving lives, right?
Yep.
Arguably.
Yep.
And then you have Wilson, who's lost weight and he's doing good and he's happy and he's trying to work for people. But ultimately, we know that's also a sham where he's been sneaking the meals and, and making the suits rip and all this stuff. And I just really liked in some ways, it was a weird body shaming thing, but like, sorry, Wilson, in order to be the kingpin, you gotta be fat like a king.
Yeah.
You have to be puffy. And I did I liked that. Um, if Matt's look is, recognizable look is to be in the Daredevil costume,
Mm-hmm.
and Wilson's is to be large and in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just, I appreciated that very much. Very much.
They really went for it with Wilson Fisk this season. I feel like there was a lot of, I feel like they did, especially towards the end of the season. They used him as a device for commentary in a very interesting way.
I thought really since the first episode he was a device for commentary, unknowing to them, which I thought was more fascinating than anything. The show was made before our current place in America, where we find ourselves in America right now. And I just and I think they were like, oh, it'll retroactively be funny. It'll be actively not funny. But in some ways that also inspires hope and whatever else. Like,
for sure, yes.
Yeah. I'd say it's not subtle about its commentary, but I also don't care.
It's not, and I feel like it gets less subtle as the season goes on.
True.
But they took it to some very interesting places. D'Onofrio continues to just absolutely like kill it and bring everything to that role. Sometimes literally.
There's something about when he tries to smile and he has this weird grimace that comes out. It's the most unsettling thing I watch on television. It reminds me every time of that really awkward scene in the last Harry Potter movie where Voldemort hugs Draco Malfoy, and you're like, that shouldn't happen. It doesn't feel right. It looks icky. It's uncomfortable for everyone. And that's like every time he smiles, that's what's happening.
I don't like it. Don't like it.
Yeah. I don't like it.
It's so strange. It's so bizarre.
But it's such a great acting choice from that he is a smooth customer, but only so far.
Right. Because it's he's a smooth customer, but what he lacks in smoothness, he makes up for with intimidation. Right. So like where the smoothness ends, when it will only get him so far, the intimidation takes him the rest of the way.
Right.
So he's not that charming when he smiles, but I'm scared crapless of him.
And what I also like is that when the intimidation fails this season, how far he goes. Like, because we've never seen Wilson go this far before. We have in the comics. This is, it's pulling from some really good recent comic stories, actually. But, but like when he literally crushes and like tears apart the police commissioner's head, you've never seen him do anything like that before.
It was like, remember the car door was like,
that's what I was just going to say. Yeah, the car door. Yeah, but that was insulated in a lot of ways in his crime community. This is a much bigger, it has much bigger implications. Here's the active police commissioner that you straight up murdered with your bare hands, but not even just murdered
in front of a bunch of police.
Yeah. You're just expecting Sylvester Stallone to come in and be like, I am the law.
Right.
That's what has transpired. It's just great. Speaking of the police, I loved their use of the Punisher skull to mirror, like people who use it in real life and whatever else. But then like to take it a step further, be like, Frank, we love you, what you do. And he's like, I hate all of you.
Yes.
You're all the worst. Yeah.
This was the most I've ever enjoyed Punisher.
Truly.
Yeah. No, true. I mean, really, I think it was. I really appreciated the character and the way he was used here, which is not a thing I say very often. So I was, hey, take it. Whoever out there cares deeply about what I think about the Punisher, which I'm sure is many of you. Here you go. This is it.
I actually like the Punisher quite a bit, but I think that's because I have an attachment to him because of Spider-Man, the animated series.
Okay, yeah.
When he showed up, when he was an anti-hero, he was just a dude with laser guns.
Interesting. I'm like, how do you use him in a Saturday morning cartoon?
Laser guns.
Yeah, laser guns will do it.
Yeah, he was like hunting. Was he hunting Blade or was he hunting Morbius or something like that? So he was like laser guns, but he was also just straight up a vampire hunter or something like that. So it was like a little different.
I guess he was big in the comics at the time, so it made sense to want to have some supporting. Yeah. I'm thinking about the time frame now. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. What did you think about the killing off Foggy? / do you think Foggy's still alive?
I hope they don't do one of those.
Has happened.
I know.
Foggy has faked his death many a times in the comics.
I thought it was done so like poignantly and used like it wasn't for nothing. Bringing Karen back at the end was also big for me, because I was kind of disappointed. Like, oh, okay, so is this just going to be a sort of she's here for the first 2 or 3 episodes and then she's gone? But it was nice that they tied that up.
I can actually clarify that for a second. So what I had learned is because this show went over, they did some massive rewrites and reshoots.
Oh, interesting.
And so like huge, like they had filmed a good portion of the show and they were like, no, we have to rework this. We have to retool. We have to redo this. So, but from what I have gathered is that they added 2 episodes which reshaped the course of the show.
Sure.
And those 2 episodes were the first episode and the last episode.
Ooh, interesting.
Which explains the absence of Karen.
Yes.
Foggy.
Right.
From the show. So they basically showed instead of told that story in the first episode, and then the further implications of it as it went on by the time you got to, which also includes her return.
Yes.
Last episode.
Oh, fascinating.
Yep. But apparently so I guess the rest of it was not necessarily untouched, but it was much easier to clean up after that.
Interesting.
And so so they to reconnect it, because it was basically supposed to be a fresh start and not be connected to Netflix at all. And so those are the episodes and how they worked are really what tied them all together.
I
so
see.
You like think about Matt's new law office and like all of this stuff, like it just doesn't reference seasons 1 through 3 at all. Like if you think of the majority of the show, it just doesn't.
Does he not talk about Foggy being dead?
He does.
At all?
He does.
Okay, I thought he did.
He does, because he's got the prayer card.
Oh, sure, that's right. Yes,
his
yeah.
girlfriend is like, well, you do that, do you? And he's like, yeah, get off my back. And so, but I think it was it happened off camera in the past. We never saw it. Like,
wow.
And
that would be so unsatisfying.
So unsatisfying. I agree. Like, and like you could start shows with somebody who is already dead, but not a character that you've spent 3 seasons with.
Yeah. It's hard to
just. The point is that we weren't originally supposed to have spent 3 seasons with them. It was a reboot,
right.
And but Born Again, and but it's like when they reused, Pat Hingle and Michael Goff in Batman Forever,
right?
Like, it's a soft reboot, but
it's fuzzy.
These guys around,
Yeah,
it's a brand new James Bond. Daniel Craig's amazing. Judi Dench is back.
Right, exactly. Yes,
great. Yeah,
great. Yes.
Yeah,
good. That's a great example.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, they're too good to guess. We just keep them in here.
Exactly.
Yeah, but so but you would never know like that. That's just why when people freak out about reshoots and whatever else, like most of the time they are for the better. Like,
yeah, that's like
they exist.
Super well done example of it. Yeah, I'm amazed. I'm sure. Yeah, like you said, they did some other editing throughout the rest of the series to make things really go together. But whatever they did a great job with it, because it really, I think it was a great season of television. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well put together, and yeah, one of the things that I always liked about the first run of the show, but I think it didn't spend a lot of time doing was a lot of the symbolism around like Matt's faith and like how that impacts him. They were very like there was a lot of like church related imagery very early and very like like
incorrectly, I need to add in.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't just some random nonsense that gets thrown around and you're like, yeah, it's close enough. Or
right. Things were used right.
Yeah.
Things that were used as symbolic of their actual meaning and in the right context and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Imagery and music and stuff that was used. Yeah.
Exactly. And I appreciate that kind of research. Like
yeah.
It's like the difference between like this like that and then like the use of like Ave Maria in the Batman.
Oh
and
yeah.
You're like it could have been any song.
Right.
Like why is it that song?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's really an odd choice because it has no symbolic meaning to anything that's happening at all. It's just an old well-known song.
Right.
Anything could have been used. But I did not find that the case here where it was really thoroughly thought out, almost to the extent that I would say that Midnight Mass was thought out. If you've ever seen
I didn't watch it, but I
do recommend. It's really good. But it is like it's so well researched in terms of like what like in using their faith correctly and then expressing something real with that. And I obviously that's not the focus of Daredevil.
No.
But you can't drop it.
It's a big component of his character, I feel like.
Right. It would be like it's like you don't drop that Magneto is an Auschwitz survivor.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just part of his character now.
It's integral now. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't in the 60s or the 70s, but by the time you hit the 80s, that was part of his character. You can't drop it. Yeah, it's too important to his motivation.
Yeah. It's one of those things that
is like the equivalent of saying like oh, we're just never going to mention the fact that Batman's parents died, or that Superman's planet blew up, or that Uncle Ben was murdered, or like, they're integral to their characters. You don't have the origin story the whole time, but it informs how they make decisions. And but I liked that they also did that with Wilson and Vanessa, because he's really the reason that he makes the decisions that he makes. And so their linkedness in this show is the equivalent of Matt's faith, I think.
I think that's right. Yeah. That's what motivates them in the same way that his faith motivates him.
Another thing about it, as far as reshoots, I'm pretty sure they had originally recast Vanessa. And so all of her scenes were part of the reshoots. I don't know why. Maybe it was a scheduling conflict, or I'm not actually sure what the reason is. But I'm glad that she's back because she's she's half the she's
half the chemistry, right? Like
chemistry, exactly. I didn't find that this show, there was never a moment in this show where I was like, no, that didn't work, or I didn't like that.
No, not really. Like this really kind of held together for me. The story held together. There wasn't a lot of there was a lot of showing, not telling, which I always appreciate. Even the supporting characters like Hector Ayala were very compelling.
Yep.
His was it his niece who was another compelling character. Fisk's new communications director, that guy.
Mini Fisk.
Yeah, Mini Fisk. Like, what an interesting sort of tale of somebody who comes in wanting to be corrupted. Like, oh please, I want to do anything. Please, I just want to play in the big leagues. Like, whatever it takes. Take me under your wing. I'll do anything.
I can't wait to see where that goes.
He's going to be a very interesting character.
Also, New Wesley, whatever the British guy.
Oh yeah.
Because there's something obviously fishy about him, but
yes,
he's like, I pulled you from the thing where you used to do, and I'm like, well, let's talk more about that.
Can we? Yeah, please elaborate.
Because I think there's you know, are you somebody that I'm supposed to know?
Right.
Somebody I used to know.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, there, like I said, there really wasn't anything. And what I also appreciated is that it did not require me to go back and watch seasons 1 through 3.
No, it didn't.
Nope. Like there's some stuff like if you didn't remember that like Fisk murdered Ben Urich, that when he met
Yes.
Phoebe,
Right.
that name, like the name won't mean anything to you, but it also just like slides away.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I say the BB stuff? Like she was a great character, but the little cut-ins of segments from her show were so good, so real, like New York, like they felt so real to me.
Yep.
In just a very like tangible way. Like, oh, these are clearly like very good improvisers who are New Yorkers. And like just very natural in the way that they spoke and behaved, and it just felt like a real something I would see for real on TV when I lived in New York. And it's just those were some of my favorite moments in the whole show, you know, for completely unrelated reasons, but just for my own pleasure. This was so fun for me.
That's great. I'm glad you have that perspective because, you know, as a native New Yorker, you know, like, does it feel like, is it New York? Is it New York? Does it feel like New York? I really wanted that guy from Spider-Man to show up and go, he stinks and I don't like him. I would like that guy to show up at one point. What about Muse? You know, we had this like side B character. Muse, I feel like this is a spoiler, probably a spoiler. I said that apparently Muse is a multi-arc villain, or a multi-season villain or something like that. So like it's the last I've seen of you kind of thing.
Interesting. Yeah.
Interesting indeed. But I liked it. It was just the right level of gritty, realistic, creepy, but also comic book that Daredevil is really known for. It doesn't move itself. It doesn't remove itself too far from the real world. It's like just enough that it worked for me.
It was very disturbing. I was not familiar with the character before this, so it was very disturbing and so interesting. Again, very compelling. Like, and his scene in therapy with Heather when he's sort of revealing his identity to her was just like some of the creepiest stuff. Like, such a good, scary performance by that actor.
I liked her performance in the show too, because
I liked her a lot.
She's a pretty layered character, like, you know, because you could easily write her off as the girlfriend. But she's so linked to their worlds without even knowing it, and that's what I find interesting. She has such strong ideas, and that are not incorrect, but they beat so close to truth that Matt backs away from so completely that their dynamic got really interesting as the season went on. So what I think I liked the most out of the whole show is that there's a constant ramping, there's a constant ascension in tension and climax, but I never felt like and it never felt like it was going off the rails at any moment. And it also felt like Matt was more capable of handling himself inside the MCU than previously. You know, like I think like his confidence as Daredevil matches any MCU character, that any hero that you would run across. It wasn't I was really hoping it wasn't going to devolve into he's got to learn to get his groove back kind of story. He's like, once he's in, and still got it. And I really appreciate it. I appreciated that. Especially like early on with like his fight with Bullseye, and then
that's right,
Muse and all this stuff. Like, it's like he doesn't really miss a step, and he's still extraordinarily capable of taking a beating and walking away. So
yes, incredibly.
I liked the whole. Yeah, I just liked the whole thing. I'm not always bummed when a show ends. Like when like I'm like, well, that was good, and I'll wait for the next one. But I this one was like, oh boy, here we go. Kind of give it to me now. I can't wait for next March. Yeah.
Yeah,
Words
yeah.
that I never say. Can't wait for March.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but now there's something to look forward to inside of it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was a great season. I'm glad it's back. I think it's better than it's ever been.
I agree. I think it is. But I honestly, I think it's better than the first 3 seasons.
Agreed. Yeah. I agree.
Which especially they were strong in different respects.
Oh yeah.
In all way, even especially 3 was like really. I felt really strong. But nope. This is what I wanted across the board. It's what I wanted.
It's like a fine-tuned. They've had a few years to sort of look at what made that show great and what could make it even better, and they did their homework and they did a great job.
Yep. It took me. But before we go, like Matt in the MCU, it took me about half the episode in the one in the bank to be like, that's Miss Marvel's dad. That's like,
oh yeah. Well,
like,
the first time, yeah.
Yeah.
When he said her name near the beginning, and that's when I was tipped off.
Right. But for some reason to me it was like I was like, oh yeah, that's who that is. And then I was like, oh no, wait, right, because the universe is I don't know why it just didn't click to me, because like it's not like we haven't seen Matt in the MCU before. He was on She-Hulk and whatever else. So kind of bummed that doesn't get explored a little bit.
Yeah. That was fun though. That was super fun. Visit with him.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Frank, where can the people find us?
Head on over to beerwithgeeks.com. That's a great place to find all past episodes, and the show notes will have links to things like the Batman Forever glasses from McDonald's in 1995. So check that out. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, and you can, of course, rate and review us in places like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and so forth. And patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio is how you can support us and help us keep making the show.
Frank, you know what those glasses were? The best glasses to come out in 1995.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
The
Well,
best
until
glasses
next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.